Hey, this is Orange County Executive Steve NeuCAST. I am here in Warwick, New York at Yesterday's, the new Yesterday's, with my buddy John Christison, and this is our NeuCAST for March 2024. John, what's up, buddy?
I'm just hanging in there.
Oh my God, this place is beautiful. I've been here since, I think, before you even poured the foundation.
Yep.
Or actually you had the foundation, then it was dormant for a while.
Yeah,
then
5 years.
This place is gonna be like the hottest place in the area. You got all sorts of rooms that you can do events. You got a great bar here.
53 feet long.
Yeah, it's incredible. And let's just, before we get into all that, let's have the viewers like, who the hell is John Christison? I know your wife's here too, Peggy, she's running around. But who are you? Where'd you come from? And how the hell did you end up in Orange County, New York? And then we'll get into Yesterday's.
Okay, I got to Orange County in 1984, opened up the original Yesterday's on Main Street.
Why Yesterday's? Why that name?
We built it brand new to look old.
Okay.
And that's where it came from. And actually the first one, we were writing names on the walls. And people were coming in and they wanted one, how many times they liked it.
Oh, great.
Yesterday's.
You had like a democracy and a
yes,
bar name.
yes.
Okay, a restaurant name. All
And
right.
Yesterday's wound up being it.
Okay.
And it's stuck ever since. We're 38 years on Main Street, then we moved to this location.
I've been going there since I was just old enough to drink, and I remember as we would stop in there. It used to have like the mats on there with different type of like
we
beers
still have
and stuff
those.
like that.
We got rid of them during COVID.
Yep.
They're probably going to come back when we reopen.
And then I really got to know you guys, your wife and yourself, with Annie Rabbit.
Yes.
Who was also a restaurant owner from Greenwood Lake, and then she was our assemblywoman and a clerk. But and then during the pandemic, your wife and yourself donated food, provided food every week at the pandemic. We loved it. It was one of our favorites. And you guys really give back. And the crowd of people that you have in the restaurant is a makeup of everybody.
It's family. We've got some 4 generations coming in the door.
So you have this place which is a staple in the Main Street in Warwick, and you eventually bought this piece of property here, which is beautiful. It's zoned properly, but it's been how long since you wanted to do this? I know there's a picture on the wall of me holding up a newspaper article saying that you guys got the green light, and I think that was like 4 years ago.
Yes, it's been a total of 7 years to date.
Wow.
But we did a tremendous amount of construction. We started construction on this building February 10th of last year.
Yeah.
And we didn't do bad in a year. Thank God for Charlie Bossellini getting it all done. Rowe Brothers supplied most of the material for us, tried to keep as much as we could local.
And I've been here to visit you and Peggy along the way. It smells new.
Yes.
But at the same time, when you see the pictures here, you bought, like, this is the front entrance from the Yesterday's there.
Yeah, and the bar.
This is the bar.
And the dividing walls, the stained glass. The brick is new, but we kind of make it look old.
Yeah. So one thing that people don't talk about when they talk about going to a restaurant of what they remember the most, or one of the things they remember the most, is the bathrooms.
Yes.
The iconic bathroom that you had at Yesterday's were old news or magazine covers and articles from like 50 years ago with all sorts of crazy articles.
Well, they're back here again.
That's where I want to get to. So back to your diplomatic ways, you asked your supporters to come up with any old magazines.
Yes, and they dropped off thousands of them. And then we had to pick and choose, and we decoupaged and put them all on the walls. We even have a Warwick section. I have Bobby Newhart's dad being a pharmacy on Main Street, and I have a picture of him standing next to it.
Wow. Now that's the mayor's father?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And another thing that you and I both share a passion for music, good music, like,
yes.
Like the Rolling Stones.
Yes.
And you have a picture of an article with them and some other great performers.
Yes, but it's
back in the day.
Back in the day. Some are newer.
Yeah.
Jagger's still hanging in there.
We talked about the 7-year time frame. This is not easy.
No.
You could have retired and just went down. I know Peggy and you checked out a couple places you haven't visited before. I think you went to St. Croix or something like that, right?
We love St. Croix.
Yeah, and but instead you decide to go on this
mission,
Lord of the Rings journey that had all sorts of obstacles, bureaucratic obstacles, the pandemic, but you kept going.
Yes.
And now you're almost there.
We're almost there.
So much like we're waiting any day for the state of New York to hopefully give you your liquor license so you can open up for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
But you, literally, I talk about you when I talk to people. It was like, they don't just say that you're a nice guy and your wife's a wonderful woman. They say, man, those guys have really had a tough time going through getting this dream to become a reality. And now we're almost there.
Right. Well, it was one of those, it got to a point where we had too much in to get out. I wasn't walking away from $500,000. So either you finish it or you walk away. It's not in my blood.
So you never thought about quitting?
Nope.
No matter how much these guys tried to stop you?
7 years later, I'm still here, still fighting.
And now you're almost here. I mean, I'm looking outside, the parking lot's paved. You got the shrubbery and plants planted. You're ready to go. And we're just days away.
We're waiting on an 8.5 by a piece of 11.
Wow.
I have my health permit all done. Everything else. As soon as I get that, I can call for liquor and beer.
So let's talk about the people. Throughout the time that I've known you, you've either introduced me to people that needed help and they don't know me, but you know me, and said, hey, I'll call Steve. Can we help him? Can we help these people with this? All random stuff that they're just, never had to be there before. You got a great group of people, business owners, retirees. You have pictures of people that were some of your favorite customers and maybe no longer with us anymore.
Yep.
But it's really like a Cheers type of atmosphere,
it's
right?
It's a family. It's yesterday's family. Like I said, I have 4 generations coming in the door. Very few businesses can say that. You look at the dining room, there's 4 generations sitting there. That's unheard of on today's market.
Yeah. You have, if anybody comes here, and hopefully when you get your doors, they open up, you're going to see your wife, Peggy, hustling, doing either waitressing, bartending. You'll
desserts.
Have a busy, of course, making the desserts. But you're like the maestro. You've done everything?
Yep.
And you still can do everything?
Yeah. The only thing I've never done is cook.
Okay.
Okay. I had a partner when I first opened that was a culinary grad, and he wanted out after 3 years. It was fine. We left on great terms. He taught my guy in the kitchen and has been with me 34 years later.
So you've survived in 30 plus years, and you've never had to cook.
Yeah. No.
So, have you had chefs like go home with the flu when he just shot like no more food today?
No, I've been fortunate having 3 chefs on hand.
And you're always covered. Okay.
Yes, all covered. Yeah.
Okay.
I take good care of him. It's one of those. Esteban's been with me 34, 35 years. He's here today doing some stuff right now.
Okay. So here's my question. My next question to you. You bought a lot of this old stuff back with you. So people walk in here, like literally you walk in here like you were still at the old Main Street. The ceiling, you had tin put in there. You have the bar that you actually physically bought here, some of the glass and some of the beautiful works here. What is your favorite thing that you've bought here that you said, if we can't do this, we're not doing it?
Oh, there's too many of them. The bar had to be here. That front had to be here.
Okay.
That's our signature.
You go to the next room over, and it's a brand new room and has nothing from the old thing there, but you bought your local eye or your wife's eye, and you found church pews.
Yep.
From
the church bar.
Church bar.
Yep.
That you made it to. I'm sure it was not a bar when it was a church, but it's now the church bar. But it's iconic too.
Yeah, came out of the Belleville Church. Mike Foreman bought it, and he put that on Facebook or whatever, wanted $200 for it. There were people wanting it. We mentioned that we wanted it, and he gave it to us. That's the kind of people that support Yesterday's.
When people come here, what kind of fare are they getting? Obviously, you look Irish. You got a lot of Irish swag and flair in the room. We have bagpipers when we came in here. What is the typical food you get here? What do you call it? American?
It's a mix. I mean, we have shepherd's pie, which we traditionally make with lamb. We have English fish stew. We have fish and chips, clams and chips, spinach salads. I mean, we first opened 40 years ago.
You have escargot, too.
Yes, we have escargot.
Which is not Irish, by the way.
No, but 40 years ago, if you wanted meat, this is where you came. If you wanted fish, you went to a seafood restaurant. But we broke all the boundaries with it, and now we have pasta. We make our own fresh mozzarella cheese.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's great.
So it's
You're
a variety.
You're a good friend to have.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Your wife makes great desserts, and
yep.
You know how to get things done. You're
yeah,
like
exactly.
the guy
I delegate well.
You're like the like Morgan Freeman, I think, from Shawshank Redemption. You have a way of getting things.
Yeah, but it's one of those where you make it work. And it's one of those, the menu has expanded over the years, and it's going to stay that way. I mean, we have king crab legs on the menu, or an omelet, and you can get omelets all day long.
That's great.
Yeah.
So What is, when you open this restaurant up eventually, we're hopefully days away. Besides just being the big sigh of relief, what is your biggest, is this like one of your biggest like shining achievement?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Well, are you going to be just seeing like people coming in, using the place?
Yeah, but it's going to be like coming home after being away for a year. We've been closed down for a year.
Yeah.
We have a tremendous following. It's amazing. I put stuff on Facebook. We have generically...
Everybody just ask.
When you open it.
I watch your Facebook, and I hate to cut you off, but every time you post something like, here's me with this, people are like, when are you opening?
Yes.
And you're always like, soon.
True, but we also put lately, we've been putting, don't have a date yet. Don't have a date yet. So as soon as we get one, everybody will know it's going to be jam-packed, and we'll just deal with it. I mean, Channel 11 wants to come for our opening day.
Then you got Rich Meyer's going to have to be here sooner or later.
Yes.
So this room, I've been watching the pain that you and Peggy have gone through to try to get this thing operational and all these obstacles put in front of you. And it's reminiscent of Tom Hanks' movie, The Money Pit.
Yep.
Just like, and it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This will be done in 2 weeks.
Yes, exactly.
And it's still, we're like hopefully a few days away, hopefully, and I'm looking forward to this opening. And it's just like, it's amazing the amount of, and we talked about this earlier, that the spirit that you have of you guys not just saying like, what are we doing here? Do you ever say like, hey, we're not quitting, Peggy, but
we try not to.
Why the hell didn't you talk me out of this?
No, it's one of those where you're all in or all out.
Okay.
And thank God Peggy's been behind me 200%. I mean, we sold 2 houses to get here. NBT Bank is financing it. Todd Rubino, he did that. And we worked with the banks to do it. And here we are.
The craftsmanship has been phenomenal. And you talked about your builder. And again, you walk in the front door and it's like you're walking into the other restaurant. You got a little bit more space, which is great. What has been some of your actual the worst physical challenges here? I know we talked about the bureaucratic, getting permits, people stop, work order.
Well, it was also certain things you couldn't get. We were missing pieces for the deck. Got 3/4 of the way done, couldn't get it. You know, Road Brothers did a good job trying to get pieces. And there was...
Just supply chain.
Supply chain. And some of the prices, they'd hold it for 2 days. And then next thing you know, they wanted more money for it. But you just dig into the pocket. Thank God I have good ink. And just keep it going.
I remember during the pandemic, you would walk me through a world I really didn't know of, like the restaurant world, about shortages of food. I remember you telling me, like, this is bad this week, or this went up this week, or this you can't get next week, and you'll never, be able to get these things on the market again. Has all that smoothed out for the most part? Pretty
much. Prices are more money than what they were. Some are drastically higher, some aren't. And you try to make do with it. I will not cut my quality of fish, meat, or anything like some restaurants do, but no. Charge a little more, make sure you still have top-notch food.
All my favorites are still on the menu that I usually get.
They're in the kitchen as we speak.
Okay, so you guys are just ready to go. What are you worried about when you do open? Are you worried about having enough parking? What kind of concerns do you have? Staff? Like, when you get the green light to go now, and you've been rearing up to go for 7 years, what are you going to do?
Well, open the door and we'll make it all work.
Make it work, okay.
Somehow or other we have a good staff that's been training, but it's hard they have jobs, but you can't really hire them till we open. So they've been fortunate. They're working other places, waiting to give their 2 weeks notice and stuff like that. We needed 45 spots for a CO. We have 59 parking spots. So we'll make do. If not, there's plenty of parking somewhere or other.
I remember during the pandemic, you and your peers, other restaurants and eateries in the Hudson Valley and across America, were suffering. Probably in New York more than ever. I remember you had the picture. Cuomo, I'm sure, is around here. I remember, like at most restaurants, you had a picture of him like snooping through the window to make sure you were wearing masks. But you were able to get through that. Was that the toughest time in your restaurant career?
That was a real tough, but you had a choice of. We were fortunate to be able to go on Main Street. I took it a level above like everything else. I put bands out there. I put palm trees out there. I put heaters out there to make it all work. And
by the way, I thought that was great. I missed that outdoor eating. That was pretty cool when they shut down Main Street there.
But we have a tremendous outdoor seating here now.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. But it's one of those where, what do you do? Just close? You can't close. It's not in my nature. You still had to pay rent and everything else. And we were fortunate. The customers of yesterday supported yesterday wholeheartedly. They still support me. When we were doing this place, people would stop by Bob and Sally Sherman Farms. They washed all the glasses one day. Sean and Lisa Ryan, they came and did dishes. They fixed the chairs. People would come by and what can I do?
To keep
Keep me going, moving forward.
And there was some point during the height of the pandemic where you couldn't go into the restaurant.
Right.
And you could only get stuff to take out.
Yes.
And I remember cases across the county where people would not only take out food to keep the restaurants alive, because people were worried about restaurants going under, but they were also very generous with tipping.
Oh, phenomenal, phenomenal. I mean, and some of our customers, you'd look at the receipt and they were leaving a $100 tip. You'd call them up. Did you mean to do that? Yes, give it to the staff. You know, this community that supported yesterday's back then and right now is phenomenal. I mean, we have roughly 6,000 followers every day on Facebook.
When you talk about people being very supportive to you and generous, you guys were very generous too. Like you and Peggy, I remember it was like a competition, and we would get excited. I'm like, when is yesterday's cooking, or when you guys were bringing really great sandwiches, and you and your wife personally made the sandwiches.
Yes.
For the 100+ staff every week that were working.
It was our pleasure to do it, and you were fortunate you mentioned us on air that we delivered it, but you have to give to get.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't make it all in one day. I mean, yesterday's designed to eat every day. It's not a special anniversary, expensive restaurant to eat at, you know, and that's survival. You got to take care of it. When we first got closed down, I said to the guys in the kitchen, wrap up all this food. We drove it around and put it on people's doorsteps. Because what was I going to do with it? Throw it out?
Yeah.
We didn't know what it was. I mean, we got closed down St. Patty's Day Eve.
I remember, oh my gosh. I remember.
That was suicidal.
Yeah, I remember like you and other restaurants had like crazy amounts of corned beef. Like
we had 400 pounds. And we put it on Facebook. We put more on the plates, but we got rid of 400 pounds of corned beef, sold it.
Wow.
We're fortunate. You know, social media was very good to us. And we were good to the community. Community is good to you. You have to give back to get.
I know, without like giving names, there's a lot of people in our community that had some terrible stuff happen to them, battling cancer, a death in the family. I remember a lot of them vividly, and they would do you would do meals for their families.
Of course,
and
still
then,
do.
And then after that, people would you know, I'm going to take care of the first Monday of every week. You know,
Yep.
I think that is an incredible thing that you only get with a local restaurant.
Yeah. Well, during the pandemic, we were selling lunches for the hospital at $10 a lunch. And people were buying 1 or 2 lunches or 50 lunches or whatever, and we would prepare it and take it up to the hospital. Sometimes we didn't quite raise enough money for it, so yesterday's did it, and we took it up to the hospital. You fed the nurses and everything else. You had to. It was part of it. And to me, you get it back.
Your favorite part about owning a restaurant?
The clientele.
Worst part about owning a restaurant?
The clientele. Some people are great, some aren't, but in general, I've weeded out all the bad clientele over 30 years, 40 years, you know, but it's a rough industry. It's not easy.
I get it. I've been to, you know, we have a lot of great wineries and restaurants in Orange County, and I know they work hard to make their wine, make their food, and you have to deal with customers that are all over the place.
Yes.
Some have maybe a legitimate gripe, but some don't.
Right.
And are rude to your staff.
Yep.
And then you have to step in. And so that's the tough part of it.
That's the tough part. And it's one of those where there's times I've had customers that want to sit at a certain table and they ask the waitress says no. Then they ask Peggy, my wife, she says no. They come to me, I'm like, you got 2 no's already. You ain't sitting there, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
You have a lot of space in this new restaurant. This is great.
Twice the size.
Yeah, I mean, I think even more because I've identified locations for you to have other ideas, but I don't want you to get any more bureaucratic trouble than you have. So we'll talk. That'll be the
Next
part, plan B.
podcast.
Yeah. What are you going to do with the extra space? What's your vision on it?
Fill it with as many bodies that the kitchen crew can handle.
But now you're going to be able to have birthday parties, showers, bar mitzvahs, you know, communions, stuff that you were limited on.
Right.
If somebody booked you, they booked you.
Right. It's one of those where we have a catering room we can fit 59 people in. And technically, we can open up those walls there and have the whole place all in once. I don't know how often we're going to do that, but it's there. We have an outdoor deck we can fit 50, 60 people at.
you can have local businesses can have like a 3-hour corporate meeting here.
Yes, Leo Katie's already booked Christmas dinner for his employees at Christmas time.
I saw Leo Sr. yesterday, or in the last couple of days,
Yes,
came
he
by to
stopped
check.
by,
Literally everybody in the Orange County community at some point, the sheriff and I were here a month and a half ago, and we filmed this. I came up with this picture to take that your wife took very nicely of us looking at our watches, being like, when is this place opening? So you have the energy. Like, nobody went away. You've been gone for a year, literally, as far as opening an establishment. And they're just waiting. I mean, the police chief, Tom McGovern, who retired, and now the new one, John Rader, both good friends of mine. We talk about it all the time, that we're just going to break in here one night and start cooking ourselves.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we had technically, Tommy had a party going out when he came in, left, and Rader had one coming in. So we have a good rapport with the police department, and you have to have that.
Anything new that you're going to have here that you haven't had in the past? I mean, I can go into it, but I'm not going to go into it.
No,
you know.
it's one.
I know you even the urinals are made up of former kegs.
Correct.
And what other type of new stuff do you have here?
Well, we're going to have more entertainment because we have space for it. You know, different variety of entertainment. I have Danny C. He's going to take care of a lot of the bands and stuff like that. Rich Meyer will come back. He's an all-time favorite.
He's going to have a field day here.
Yes, he is.
This is like the space that he always dreamed of. He used to have to stand on the bar sometimes.
Yep.
And the bar and the band used to always have to be stuck in a corner here.
Yeah.
The guitarist was helping the drummer. It was like tight, tight. Now you can have a full-on whatever you want here. I mean, I can't imagine this on the St. Patrick's Day.
We'll find out this St. Patty's Day. I mean, there's a parade in town and ends in our parking lot.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
So we hope to be open soon. We're putting your website and all your Facebook. Most people already know about it. And hopefully by the time this is even aired, you guys will be operational, because I think you're days away. Literally on the way here, somebody from the governor's office called me to ask for a point of contact for you. So I just gave them your stuff. So I'm hoping by the time this is aired, you're going to be operational. People can come in here and get their fish and chips and other type of stuff, that your signature dishes that you have on your very diverse menu.
Yes. Hopefully, as soon as we can, all the liquor companies are ready to bring it in. The beer companies, I call them constantly. Dana Distributor, Fred Dana was here the other day, see if he could do anything for me. I says, we're always waiting.
Last question. The staff, are they all ready to go?
Yes, they've been coming in to train the best they can, and the computer system's almost ready. I mean, we got roughly 12 new staff, and we have all new staff on the floor, which is a little challenging, but we'll make it all work.
That's
and
great.
We hired professional type of thing. They came with good resumes, and knock wood, they all want to work for
I remember
change.
you had a tough time hiring people like right after the pandemic, but now
Nobody wanted to work.
But now you got a lot of people coming in.
Yeah, I was amazed on how many good candidates came to work.
That's great.
Yes.
John, always a pleasure. I love breaking your chops, and I think you like it in return. But we have a lot of fun together, and
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you guys, you and Peggy, both have your heart in the right direction, and I think this place is going to be great.
Thank you.
And I mean, literally, you have a lot of people. I think this was therapeutics. I think a lot of people would call you and break your chops to say when you're opening, because they miss the experience.
Yes.
And they miss the camaraderie.
I mean, we get probably 15, 20 cars a day driving through the parking lot. Are you open yet? Are you open yet? You know, and
I think a lot of people used to park here too, by the way, but that's a separate story. I used to make fun of you about this location when you first picked it, but you do have that group of hard supporters that are just like, the place looks open.
Yes, they can't wait, and we have our solid green line on the parking lot coming in the entranceway.
Yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to it. John, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really love you guys, and appreciate what you guys do for the community.
And I appreciate what you do for us.
That's all good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, folks.